What's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrifice my time so you don't have to. And get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here with this nonsense, bro. This is bullshit. This is absolute fucking nonsense. Absolute fucking nonsense, and no one can tell me anything else differently. Bruh, you really gonna try to tell me? Now, granted, let's just... Okay, so how about I do this then? How about I do this? We look at the number from last week, and then we look at the number this week, and then we judge on the basis of what the fuck significant increase means, right? So, if we take the actual definition of significant increase and then we apply it to the standard right here, is this something that you want to sit around and say to yourself, well, golly gee fucking willikers, we did an excellent fucking job. So, you go from 691,000 to 795,000. That's what they got this week. 795,000, most likely based off of the stuff that happened last week and also the stuff going into this week. Great, you got a significant chunk of your fan base back, right? Significant. May I remind you guys that this time last year they had 953,000 viewers. Now, granted, most people will probably be like, well, Devontae, that was the date of Blood and Guts. Okay, so let's go back to previous week then. This is when they were down. They were down almost 130,000 viewers. That's where they were down from the previous week. They were at 825,000 views. That's where they were at this time last year. Because I like to be more realistic, right? You want to judge this on a show-by-show case. You want to show this on if you want to judge this on the show-by-show basis. I think most people about 3 years ago, even 2 years ago, if they were around 795,000 right now, most people will probably look at that number and they will probably say to themselves, holy shit, golly gee fucking willikers, 795,000 in 2023. Don't even get me started on 2022. They probably will say to themselves, this is horrible. Ground zero. Break the emergency glass, push the red button. Most people were saying that about the 825,000 number, right? And they're below that right now at the fucking moment. But it's a significant increase. Because Lord knows when you're at the bottom of the fucking barrel, anything is considered a decent increase. Now, I won't be surprised if they actually do hit the 800,000 number next week. I wouldn't be surprised by that. Blood and guts, right? That's what they're building up next week, right? Blood and guts. If they don't hit 800,000 next week, then what the fuck does that tell you, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if they actually hit 800,000 for the first time in fucking months. It'd be the first time since, what, February? Maybe March? Since they hit 800,000? Good on you. Good on you. But let me ask you a question. Just a quick question. Will Ospreay, MJF, head-to-head. You did a big angle last week with Toni Storm and Mariah May. Right? You're building up currently to Blood and Guts. All this stuff is currently ongoing in AEW at the moment. And all you drew was 795,000. Like I said, pat yourselves on the back. Pat yourselves on the back. You managed to hit ground fucking zero and you managed to stand up straight. Because that's all I see. I don't see a big gain in the numbers. What I see is that you're still about, let's see, carry the 1, carry the 2 to the 5. You're still about 200,000 views short of what you used to be at your peak. But, of course, clamor around and pat yourselves on the back. Because you got people online right now, on Twitter, they're like, drones, WWE drones, see? MJF is a draw. Will Ospreay is a draw. Draw. Mercedes, we proved you guys wrong. We proved you guys wrong. What do you mean? What is proving, what are you fucking talking about right now? What are we doing? See, this is the level of insanity that we have to deal with in professional wrestling nowadays. That you can legitimately hit the bottom of the fucking barrel and, like I said, manage to stand up straight, and that in itself is an accomplishment. Beforehand, you used to be climbing. As a matter of fact, at one point in time, you were literally about to climb out of the well. And then you fell all the way back down to the bottom. So standing up straight in itself is an accomplishment. These people are fucking jokes, dude. I'm telling you. Professional wrestling in itself is a fucking joke. But AEW fans, they will take any fucking number, twist it and turn it, and then tell you that that's an accomplishment in itself. That's not an accomplishment. We shouldn't be gathered around clapping because they managed to get close to 800,000 again. Motherfucker, that should have been right there. 800,000 is an emergency. Like I said, it's taking out the hammer and hitting the emergency glass about 2 or 3 years ago. And hell, even last year. But nowadays, so like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And like I said, you managed MJF, Will Ospreay, One may argue that should be the match that be happening at Wembley Stadium for the first time. One will probably argue that if you did an actual real fucking angle, and then you use that angle to promote for next week going into Blood and Guts, maybe something that could have happened like a sit-down contract signing, maybe something could have happened as far as a legitimate angle, something that actually captures your attention and make you want to watch the match at Wembley Stadium. Maybe that going into next week with Blood and Guts, maybe then I think to myself, well, shit, you have a cliffhanger. You have a reason for people to want to tune in, but you blew your load on this one already. You're going to blow your load tomorrow or next week when it comes to fucking Blood and Guts, but, put that to the side. That's every year. That's an annual thing. I won't hold that against them. But then what happens after that? Huh? What happens after that? What, do we just start putting on pay-per-view quality matches on the actual show in itself? Pay-per-view quality matches that go way too fucking long. I see the amount of fucking retards that I've seen on Twitter today. It was just agonizing seeing how many people were like, how many people can complain about a good match going an hour? These people, it's like they live in their own universe. They live in their own bubble. My main critique for the show last night in regards to the match in itself is 1 hour of the same shit we see every single week with no consequences, no build up to it whatsoever. Your definition of build up is not my definition of build up, okay? Just because we both hold guns doesn't mean we have the same type of gun. You have a pistol, I have a shotty. What the fuck are you talking about? Why are you trying to compare damages right now as far as a pistol versus a shotty? One may both kill each other, one may both do some damage, but one's going to do significantly a hell of a lot more damage than compared to the other. So why are we comparing the two right now? That's what I'm talking about in regards to how they look at these matches, how they look at the structure of the shows in itself. See, you constantly wanting to put on a wrestling show, oh God, let's have these guys go out there and wrestle for a fucking hour to get 795,000 views from, two of our biggest draws in the entire company, people who were paying millions upon millions of dollars. There's no... I guarantee you MJF and Will Ospreay combined are making well over 8 digits. There are some wrestlers currently on the roster right now per year or per 3 years who are making about as much money as Will Ospreay and MJF combined. Right? No way in hell you can't tell me Edge ain't making that kind of money combined when you take Will Ospreay and MJF's contract into consideration, right? And he's not even on the show right now. What the fuck was he doing as far as ratings are considered, right? Because, like I said, love Edge to death, ain't a draw on his own. That's all because of the WWE machine. It's just pitiful to me. Can I ask you guys a question? Now, let's take this metric into consideration really, really fast. What if WWE fell down to 795,000? People are like, oh, Devontae, I mean, God, oh, that's so much worse than AEW. I mean, really? Is it? Is it so much worse than AEW? To watch a company collapsing on itself compared to where they were about 2 years ago? But of course, when it's WWE, then of course, we don't want to use that same type of logic when going after them, right? Oh, okay, I'll do you one better. Well, I'll take more consideration. So what? What was their peak number about 2 years ago? Their peak average was around 988,000, right, in the springtime, right? 988,000 in the spring or summertime, right? And right now they're probably averaging every bit of maybe lower to upper 700,000 to 600,000, right? I don't know the percentile that we're taking into consideration, but let's just say 200,000 dropped from Raw's average number, right? Let's just say consistently Raw got about 1.4 million, right? 1.4 million. That's still almost twice as much as what AEW is getting right now that we're bragging about. Even though the superstars who are bringing in those numbers, they're probably making not even 1/3 of the contract that the guys are getting in AEW are making. But of course, though, right? Of course, that's something that's not even worth noting, right? Because you had guys go out there and wrestle for an hour. They put on a fucking clinic. Nothing to really get out of it whatsoever besides the fact that MJF is a secondary champion after being a fucking world champion for a year. No, let's focus on this. And mind you, I shit you not, I would not be making this video right now because I took it easy as far as the viewership number stuff is considered with AEW. And I would have probably just said to myself, okay, well, at least somebody cares for the fucking bullshit that goes on in AEW. They brought back their fans who apparently they just gave up on them for the past couple of months now, right? Am I right? 795,000? Probably gave up on them for the past couple of weeks to months, right? But they're back and they're watching your current product right now. Like I said, I'm very curious as to what the numbers are going to be when we look at Blood and Guts next week. If it's not 800,000, especially looking at the number that I'm seeing right now, what do we say by that? What do we say about that? Huh? I'm very curious. What do we say about that? Because my thing is, if you can't even capitalize on what you already have currently at the moment, with all the big names that you're going to have next week, especially with Blood and Guts, what does that say about your company? One may even argue, hell, at one point in time, you know how much I have to lower the bar right now with AEW? I'm not even suggesting, hey, you guys got to get 1 million views next week, because in reality, that's what I would think, considering the so-called talent you have on board. I can't even say 900,000. Not even 1 million, not even 100. I'm trying to see whether or not you guys can get a number that we would have fucking been crazy over how low it is just a year ago. Just a fucking year ago. But, you know, you guys want to sit here and you want to play games and you want to manipulate numbers, because anything to get over the E-drones, the same people where, and it's just so fucking crazy to me, the amount of E-drone stuff we get nowadays as far as Twitter is considered from the AEW faithful. Motherfucker, how many of you people, I'm gonna just say, I don't know, maybe 99.9%, maybe even 100% of you motherfuckers in the audience currently, and on Twitter, I guarantee you, all of you guys at one point in time were WWE fans. And that's okay. You don't have to like the product nowadays. That's fine, that's your prerogative. But all this E-drone talk and all this other nonsense, as if you weren't one at one point in time. Oh, but you feel special all of a sudden because you're supporting another company that is not WWE. And like I said, your prerogative. But why are we manipulating narratives in order to fit our agenda to make it seem as if the number that they got this week happens to be a good thing? That's not a good thing. You're doing the bare minimum, and the bare minimum is still not the number that you got at your average lowest peak last year with no competition or no, going on Saturdays before Collision even existed. None of that shit happens to be the case. You are now your own company. There is nobody else going up against you, anything like that of the sorts. And you're sitting here bragging about a number that you should not be bragging about. This should be something that you should be massively fucking worried about. You should still be in the gray zone looking around saying to yourself, okay, well, fuck. Like I said early on, just going right back to the metaphor, gotta bring it up one more time. You managed to get back up on your feet again. Now it's time to climb the wall. You're still in the well. But we're pretending that standing up inside the well is now just something worth of congratulating, even though you're still in fucking danger. Again, these people are fucking delusional. I really don't know what to say. And like I said, with all the stuff that's building up for next week, all the stuff that we're clamoring for next week, and that by we, I mean the people in the AEW audience, what happens 2 weeks after that? Now you're in the real build to All In. Then what happens? We're trying to get back to the 800,000 number. That's where we're at right now. We're trying to get back to the 800,000 number. Our so-called draws can't even get us back to the 800,000, but that's what we're trying to do at the moment. And lo and behold, and good golly Miss Smalley, back on our feet again. 795,000 AEW fans all around each other, circle jerking. We sure as hell stuck it to those AEW, those WWE guys. Those guys on the internet. It's fucking pitiful, man. It's absolutely fucking pitiful. Still in competition with NXT, but this is what the fuck we're talking about at the moment, huh? Am I right? So, what's on the tap afterwards, though, huh? Do we get an actual angle? Because like I said, I like to follow up on some stories, some legitimate character development. Would have been nice to see maybe MJF cut a promo tonight, or last night, I guess. Maybe get an angle with maybe Will Ospreay, I don't know, something happening, getting arrested, going to his house, anything of the sorts to actually give legitimate reasoning as to why this match could have been half the time, with half the fucking spots done, with more of the care given into it had it happened at a pay-per-view. This is pure, unadulterated delusion. But I guess I am just one person. I'm just one person reflecting off of the bullshit that we see in wrestling nowadays. People will never learn. They're just okay with mediocrity. That's all I see. They're absolutely okay with mediocrity. Like imagine, just imagine, metaphorically speaking, imagine being a millionaire, right? Imagine being a millionaire and then you lose damn near 50% of your money, right? You lose your job, you lose everything while being a millionaire. But you managed to get back up on your feet, right? Because, well, damn, I'm now making almost a quarter, actually well below a quarter. No, around a quarter of what I used to make. I mean, never mind the fact that the bills are still the same. Never mind the fact that $1 million was the bare minimum that I need to cover all my bills. Well, fuck. I'm no longer closer to half of what I used to have. I'm now closer to, or actually around a quarter of what I lost. That's how much I lost. I'm 3/4 there now. Even though at one point I was actually at the actual conclusion, the actual results in itself. So what do? Bills need to be paid. Shit needs to be done. This shit ain't gonna cover it. But god damn it, I got some of the money back. Now it's time to hip hip hooray, congratulate ourselves like we actually paid any of these motherfucking bills. Shit still needs to be owed. Shit still needs to be covered. We still ain't got the money to cover it. We still lost a good chunk of that money. But congratulate yourselves. Sit there and celebrate like you fucking have the money all of a sudden. This is the level of delusion that we're fucking with right now. That MJF and Will Ospreay, they're actual legitimate quote-unquote draws. This is the level of bullshit that we're fucking with right now. These people, they're never gonna learn. There's nothing to tell them, nothing for them to actually sink their teeth into. They're gonna take anything that looks like a W, anything that looks like an increase, and that in itself, right there, that's the conclusion. Nothing else to look at, nothing else to see here. Okay, keep it up. That's your mentality, that's your prerogative, keep it up. I'll be back here looking at y'all motherfuckers and shaking my goddamn head. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Oh, Devontae, here you are again, trying to make the AEW fan base feel bad. Don't you realize that this is a joyous moment? They went from 691 to 795,000. I mean, God, that has to count for something. They ain't got to count for shit, bro. You ain't do a fucking thing. Not in my eyes. Not in my eyes, you didn't. You just managed to stand back up again. Now it's time to climb. How quick do you climb? Like I said, nothing is impressive to me. Get back to the million viewpoint. Get back to around the hell. Get back to 900,000 at the very least. And then we'll start talking. Until then, you guys still don't have a good majority of your fan base back. Until then, you guys are still losers in my eyes. Until then, you still spent so much money on people who haven't done a goddamn thing for your company. All these gimmicks, all this shit that you're currently doing at the moment, nonsense like putting pay-per-view shows in the beginning of your showing and running it for an hour, legitimately ruining everything in regards to your world champion as far as booking is considered regarding the priority. As far as the match in itself gonna be, in my opinion, like, why? Who cares? Why pay for a pay-per-view when you just literally showed us the match on free television for an hour? Ain't gonna be nowhere near that kind of quality. Mind you, I don't give a shit about the quality of the match because the quality of the match was dog shit to me anyways. But to the majority of the AEW fans, I would think to myself, unless you're that much of a diehard mark, why the fuck pay for that match when you already got the majority of it already on the show? The match on the show seems like it's going to be a better match than the match on the card. Or do we go even the extra mile and then we pull out some gimmick out of our ass? Because, well, that's what we do in AEW. We give you free matches and then we just give you something on the side that has absolutely nothing legitimately to do with the professional wrestling aspect as a whole. It's a fucking joke. But hey, AEW is a joke after all, right? My name is Devontae and I'll be catching you guys later. Bitch, moan, complain and groan in the comment section. I don't give a fuck. I just don't give a fuck. And I'm not the only one who doesn't give a fuck. Everybody who once watched your company and the million, not even, and the 900, and the 800, exactly. No one gives a fuck but the people who are already there. And apparently for at least 100 to 200,000 of them, you're barely hanging on to them. But sure, pat yourselves on the back. You did a great fucking job.